Okay, so looking here, there's a signboard for the vanished volcano, and it was Mount Mazama, which would have been way off in the distance. And about 7,700 years ago, it erupted and blew off the whole top of the mountain. Pretty interesting. Okay, looking out there, you can see the remnants of an old volcano that erupted 7,700 years ago. And by estimation, they thought the top of it would have been 12,000 feet up. I'm pretty close to Crater Lake now, and I happened upon this really cool looking gorge over here. And there's definitely water running down there. You can hear it. Try to zoom down. I can't see the water from here, and I don't want to get too close to the edge, but let's see if we can hear it. Okay, so on we go. Here's another view of the gorge. Tons and tons of evergreens out here. Okay, so we're getting pretty close to the park, and we have Annie Falls down there. I'll zoom in on it.
And then if you get up here, just right here, you can see down the river.
Pretty, isn't it? This overlook here, there's a signboard here. It says fossilized steam. Apparently this is how this area was formed. And would you have a look at that? Lord have mercy. Those peaks in the distance is a Crater Lake, and we're pretty close, but I just could not resist stopping and looking at this area here. I'm going to zoom down in there closer, and you can look, there's a beautiful grassy area down there amongst the evergreens. Well, we sure have a beautiful world, don't we? Okay, well, finally made it to the showpiece, and this is Crater Lake, and it is just absolutely stunning. I really don't know what else to say. I'm doing a pretty good pan here from an overlook, and what a view. Let's zoom in just a little bit here. Coming on over here and sweeping around. Man, I have seen pictures of this place, but they do it absolutely no justice. Not until you actually see it with your own two eyes. What a beautiful place. Well, I'm over at yet another overlook, and this looks like it may be promising. That last one I was finally able to shoot. After listening to Mommy explain 5 times to her kid why he couldn't go play in the snow at the bottom. Man, this is just amazing. Good heavens, look at that. Whew. Gosh. Wow. Okay, gonna check out another viewpoint. Go between these two trees here. Lord have mercy. think this might be the ultimate viewpoint right here. Kind of comes out to a point. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Taking real small steps because I really don't feel like falling today. Alright, so how about an unobstructed sweep of Crater Lake? Starting on the right side of the lake. Sweeping to the left. How about a zoom angle? Wow, wow, and double wow. Okay, working my way along the west rim, happened to put another overlook, and this place is just mind-blowing. Gonna do a slow sweep across the lake. These are some pretty cool birds flying around here. See those a lot out in the west area. Here is the third viewpoint that I've stopped at, and it's kind of neat because you can see the island out there in the lake. Something I want to point out is, if you'll notice, that water looks very turquoise, almost Caribbean-like. There's a boat down there enjoying a day on the lake. But look over at that beautiful reflection. Funny thing is about these viewpoints is each one you come up on, it's almost like the first time you've seen the lake. Okay, this signboard here is called Chain of Fire. And the area down there is recovering from a fire of 2006. I'd like to point out some mountains in the distance here. I'm going to zoom in. The one closest is Union Peak at 7,709 feet. And then just to its left, it's going to be Mount McLaughlin at 9,495 feet. And then way off in the distance here is Mount Shasta, 14,162 feet. That mountain's actually taller than Pikes Peak. Pretty cool. I believe it was safe to say they get a little bit of snow up here. I'm at the Watchman's Overlook pullout, and before I go to the overlook, just wanted to shoot down range over here a little bit. If you'll notice, up on the top of this peak, there's a lookout tower there. Boy, don't you know they got a good view up there. Wow. So let's go check out the Watchman's Overlook here. Okay, so heading up the rim trail here, and this looks like it should be a spectacular viewpoint. By the looks of all the people there, I think it must be. Oh boy, look at this. Beautiful. Hey, here it is on the 28th of June, and I'm walking through the snow to read this signboard. This is pretty cool. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have out there in the distance. Right there is Mount Thielsen, 9,187 feet. And just to the left of it is the South Sister. Then we got the Cinder Cone, a little bit closer to us there. And then Diamond Peak. And then lastly, we have Mount Bailey, 8,363 feet. And Diamond's 8,743. Pretty impressive. Okay, we're getting on up towards the north part of the park here, and looking over there you can see the island, and it's interesting, they call that a volcano within a volcano. Zoom in closer for a look on there. I think I'm going to hike up around the corner there and check out that ledge. Looks pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to continue hiking up here. Looks like it's going to be a really nice overlook here. let you have a look at that. Can I sneak in front of you? Oh, I'm sorry. Stopped over at its overlook on my way back towards the south end of the park, and man, look at the symmetry over there. That water's just like a mirror. You can see a few little ripples out there where the wind is hitting it, but other than that, it is pretty symmetrical all the way across. Breathtaking. Okay, the last stop at the Crater Lake National Park is the lovely Vide Falls, which is on the southern end of the park, and it is just absolutely breathtaking. The falls themselves go through several different cascades, and was just awesome to see. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with the sound of the falls. Hope you enjoy.